the contestations will be there, then there will be need to resolve it. Cooperation will be required. And politics is having two faces. One is conflict, another is cooperation. Hello everyone, myself KUMAR UJJWAL, Faculty of Political Science and International Relation, that is PSIR. I have been teaching for more than 22 years and produced 400 plus results. I welcome you all on the platform of Plutus IS, which is a reputed name. And today I am going to discuss the reasons to opt PSIR. आखिर students काफी confused रहते हैं. There are so many optionals. Which optional to choose? Why to choose? Which one is scoring? Which is interesting? What is the availability of materials? What is the availability of guidance? Whether it will work for them or not. So there are so many suspicions, apprehensions, queries regarding PSIR. I want to clear the dust. And you must be knowing the factors to decide your optional. That is a strategic decision. That can be a maker or breaker decision. Because a wrong decision in choosing optional will not only waste your time and money and career, but it will also lead to remorse. So I always recommend to take enlightened and informed decisions. And enlightened and informed decisions involve all factors to be taken into account before choosing your optional. क्योंकि अगर ऑप्शनल का डिसीजन गलत होता है तो वो एक बड़ा फैक्टर होता है सिलेक्शन या रिजेक्शन में. In GS, there is nothing to choose about, which is one and same for all. But optional is not one and same for all. It is for different students. And let me tell you that every optional is good. There is no bad subject or good subject. The whole point is suitability in this particular format of UPSC Civil Services exam. So, without going into too many details, I want to be very precise and specific. Why to choose PSIR, Political Science or International Relation as optional क्यों चुने? Or I will discuss 10 reasons why to choose Political Science and International Relation. So, first and foremost thing is convergence with general studies. If you see the syllabus of Political Science and International Relation, you will find it is the single largest subject that converges with general studies. As far as GS2 is concerned, that is Polity, Constitution, Social Justice and International Relation, it is fully covered by Pol Science. Polity is subset of larger political system in which you have to study principles and institutions of constitution as well as form of the government. In political science, in section B of paper 1, IGP, Indian Government and Politics, you have to study it in detail. So the moment you opt political science, your paper 2 is fully covered. Be it polity, constitution, governance, international relation or social justice. Because second paper is called international relation in optional, which is having two sections. Section A of second paper is comparative politics and section B is India and world. So, as far as convergence with general studies is concerned, it's not only in paper 2 of 250 marks. If you see paper 1, in which Indian history and culture is there. So, partly ancient history is covered, as in political thinkers you have to study Dharma Shastra tradition, Buddhist tradition, Manu, Kautilya, All these things you have to study. So that will be partly also covered, ancient India, along with the two major traditions, Brahminical traditions of plains and Republican democratic traditions of hilly areas representing Buddhism. As far as modern India is concerned, in GS, that fully converges with Indian national movement of IGP, Indian government and politics, section B of paper 1 of PSIR. The whole national movement you have to study, both in general studies and PSIR. In PSIR, you have to study in detail not only Gandhi, but Gandhism as political ideology also. Not only have to study Ambedkar as a political thinker. In general studies, you have to study role of Ambedkar in national movement, and in GS, social justice is there. In optional, Dalit perspective of national movement is also there. Liberal perspective of national movement is also there. Socialist perspective of national movement is also there. Marxist perspective of national movement is also there. Cultural nationalist perspective of national movement is also there. So you study in detail. So the moment you, by dint of opting political science and international relation, your paper 1, be it ancient history, be it modern history, be it national movement, they are also being covered. And not only that, world history. I strongly believe that one cannot understand international relation formally without the knowledge of world history and vice versa. Even if you have to study international relation, you need to know world history, and both are complementary. For example, in world history, you study Dark Age, 500 to 1200 AD. Then you have to study modernization. You have to study Reformation, Renaissance, first Renaissance, then Reformation, then scientific inventions, Glorious Revolution, Industrial Revolution, American Revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, Bolshevik Revolution, First World War, Second World War, Functionalism, Interwar period, Fascism, Cold War, and World Order after 1991. That you have to study both in world history and international relation. Not only that, in terms of convergence with general studies, even if you see paper 3 GS, the parts of political economy is covered there, be it IMF, World Bank, WTO, fiscal policy, monetary policy, political economy. They are also being covered by pol science. And in ethics also, you will see so many moral thinkers, be it Gandhi, be it Abraham Lincoln, be it Woodrow Wilson, be it Plato, be it Aristotle, be it John Rawls' theory of justice, they have been asked. So if you see the convergence of PSIR with general studies, it is not only immense, no other optional is even nearby to it in terms of convergence with general studies. And in general studies, there is nothing to choose about. जनरल स्टडीज तो करना ही करना है, चाहे पोल साइंस रखें या ना रखें, जनरल स्टडीज तो पूरा करना ही पड़ेगा. तो why not to opt an optional which covers large part of general studies, so that your study at one point will be covered in another portion. For example, टू नेशन थ्योरी आपने पॉलिटिकल साइंस में पढ़ा जिन्ना का, तो PSIR में नहीं आया, GS में आ गया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने दलित पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ नेशनल मूवमेंट पढ़ा, PSIR में नहीं आया, GS में अम्बेडकर का रोल आ गया. तो इस तरीके से यू विल बी फाइंडिंग ग्रेट अमाउंट ऑफ कन्वर्जेंस. दिस इज नंबर वन, व्हाई वन शुड ऑप्ट पॉलिटिकल साइंस. नंबर वन इज convergence with general studies. Secondly, the role of PSIR in essay paper. Essay paper is strategic in last couple of years. The essay paper is puzzling many students and many faculties as well. There are so many philosophical essays, and you will find straight statement of Hegel, Abraham Lincoln in essay, Karl Marx, Machiavelli. they have to be studied in detail in political science. So, if you opt political science, the ease of writing essay will also increase. I'm not saying that you have not to prepare essay at all. But by dint of opting political science, your paraphernalia of knowledge, your origin, your thinking, your concepts is so much clear that you will be able to write in detail. You will be able to understand the twist of the given essay. Because I always say in class that there is a difference between essay writing and answer writing. essay को हिंदी में कहते हैं भी निबंध, जिसमें बंधन ना हो. इंग्लिश में to have an effort to write. तो जहां पे you have ample leverage, you can give your own examples, you can give so many your personal experiences, and also of course the knowledge is the core. But I strongly believe that only knowledge will not be converted into marks, because fetching marks is also an art. And what is art? Art is a skillful application of knowledge. It's not only knowledge. So for cracking civil services exam, you need to equip yourself not only with knowledge, but you need to develop an art of applying that knowledge, that too in a skillful manner. You need to develop answer writing skill. You need to practice for essay writing. You need to practice for interview. So the second reason why one should opt political science is its role in essay, which is of 250 marks. Third, the role of PSIR in interview. If you see the interview board, their questions, they are asking most of the current and contemporary questions, mostly relating to politics and economics or political economy of the current or contemporary era. Even if you have optional of mechanical engineering, most of the interview board members will not be interested in that particular optional, or be it literature or be it engineering. Let me clarify that every optional is good. I am not saying that anything is bad, but I am just highlighting the importance of PSIR. That interview preparation should be an ongoing process. Your personality is not developed just in couple of weeks when your mains result come and you go for interview preparation and mock test. So it's not that personality is not only involving knowledge. Knowledge is already being tested in prelims and mains. So verbal expression, non-verbal expression, your way of explanation, your reasoning, your logic, your thinking, your balanced approach, your temperament, everything is being tested in interview. And confidence is nothing like artificial. There should be confidence in interview board, before interview board. But that confidence does not develop artificially. Unless you have sound knowledge, you have grip, you have concepts, you have practiced, you have wider horizon of thinking, you have developed an art of thinking, deep thinking, analysis, customizing your knowledge, processing your knowledge, making it presentable. You cannot get good marks in interview. So firstly, convergence with general studies. Secondly, its role in essay. Thirdly, its role in interview. The fourth reason why one should opt political science as an optional is that ample availability of materials and guidance. And I have developed so many innovative techniques in my teaching career of last more than 22 years, along with developing mnemonics, acronyms, frameworking, classification, correlation, thinking, flowcharts, diagrams, pie charts. These are not prerogatives of physical science. If you use more and more maps, scientific presentation, to the point presentation, adhering word limit, time limit, then only you can qualify the exam of civil services. It's not academic approach is will not be feasible, is not required. There you have only limited number of questions and ample time. You have to write in detail, detailed introduction, detailed body, detailed conclusion. But in civil services, word limit is there, time limit is there. You have to present the things in a lucid manner. It's not that if you are writing those things which have not been asked, you will not get marks. You will be penalized for writing the things which has not been asked, because that will be the symptom of not understanding the nature of the question. So, the availability of material, be it NCRTs, there are many optional in which NCRTs are not available. So, clearing basics and fundamentals will not be a problem. Even those who are not having any background in political science, they are getting better marks than those who are getting background in pol science. The reason? Because clearing basics is not a big deal. NCRTs are available. We have meticulously prepared materials starting from A, B, C, D of pol science. First 5 classes of pol science of mine would be basics, A, B, C, D of pol science. Those who don't know what is the root word of politics, what is political, what is state, what is government, what are duties, what are rights, what are civil rights, what are civil society, what are negative rights, what are positive rights, what is liberty, what is equality, what is fraternity, what is justice, what is proportional justice, what is numerical justice, what is distributive justice, what is corrective justice, what is morality, what is ethics. Well, so you don't know the basics and fundamentals. So I will be clarifying the basics and fundamentals. What is republic, what is democracy, what is parliamentary form of government, what is federalism, what is secularism, what is socialist. All these things which are A, B, C, D of pol science, I'll be covering from the basics. So those students who don't have background in pol science, the aggression of learning is more for them. I have seen engineers, doctors, those who have done management and other professional courses. They are quite enthusiastic to learn pol science. They have more curiosity. They have more aggression of learning. They don't have academic baggage of writing lengthy answers. So they prepare the exam in this particular format, because format matters a lot. भाई आप 2020 जिस फॉर्मेट में खेलते हैं उसी तरीके से तो 50 ओवर्स मैच नहीं खेल सकते वनडे, उसी तरीके से टेस्ट मैच तो नहीं खेल सकते. तो फॉर्मेट मैटर्स अ लॉट. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द फॉर्मेट ऑफ द एग्जाम, द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द एग्जाम. एज आई ऑलवेज से, knowledge is must. Knowledge is the core, but knowledge is not self-sufficient. Applied knowledge, thinking, judgment, processing of the knowledge, customizing that knowledge, picturizing that knowledge, contextualizing that knowledge, answer writing skill. Because most of the people believe that studies means reading and writing. Reading and writing is of course important part of studies, but studies also involve thinking, recalling, picturizing, contextualizing, correlation. Correlation helps in shrinking the syllabus. So this is the fourth reason why one should opt political science. First is convergence with general studies. Second is its role in essay, and third is role in interview. Fourth is availability of material and guidance. And fifth, it is interesting in nature. Every subject can be interesting. I don't rule it out. But the stimulus that you get from surroundings, every day you wake up in early morning, you read newspaper, first news is political front page, be it domestic politics, be it international politics. You hear Prime Minister, you hear Trump, you hear public statement, you go for reading statements of politicians. So they are reinforcing your optional. Name that subject, name that optional, which is constantly reinforced right from the morning, right from the very day-to-day discussion. Because people are highly interested, particularly argumentative Indians are highly interested in politics. जिनको political science का कोई academic चीज नहीं पता है, वो भी आपको foreign policy बता देंगे, वो भी मोदी का सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका प्रयास और सबका विश्वास बता देंगे. तो the point is that the stimulus that you get from surroundings, be it newspaper, be it social media, be it print media, be it electronic media, be it general discussion, be it interest, be it common people around you. Politics is always discussed because it is being said that politics is omnipresent. It's not there only where a state is directly or indirectly involved. Wherever there is public issue, wherever there is contestation of interest, conflict of ideas, conflict of ideologies, conflict of personalities, conflict of perceptions, conflict of perspectives, conflict of the different way of looking the things. The contestations will be there, then there will be need to resolve it. Cooperation will be required. And politics is having two faces. One is conflict, another is cooperation. So whenever there are contestations, there is need of conciliation, resolution, conflict resolution. So politics is omnipresent. So it is highly interesting in nature, and your surroundings further reinforce that interest. Even those who have not formally studied political science, they have ample base to begin with because of the normal day-to-day discussion. Often we hear about Maoist, we hear about fascist, we hear about rightist, leftist, center. All these things are in public domain. Sixthly, why one should opt political science. The sixth reason why one should opt political science, it is very precise in nature. Your syllabus is short. Why it is short? In terms of topics, almost 40 topics are there in paper 1 and paper 2. But many topics are getting repeated. So I substantiate what I say. जो भी मैं कह रहा हूं उसे मैं prove करता हूं. For example, गांधी आपको एज ए पर्सन भी पढ़ना है, एज ए पॉलिटिशियन, एज ए पर्सन, एज ए लीडर. इसके अलावा गांधीज्म पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी के रूप में भी पढ़ना है. इसके अलावा गांधीयन प्रिंसिपल्स इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी पढ़ना है. इसके अलावा गांधीज रोल इन नेशनल मूवमेंट भी पढ़ना है. पेपर 1 में भी है, पेपर 2 में भी है, जीएस में भी, हर जगह. सिमिलरली मार्क्स as a thinker, Marxism as an ideology. Similarly, Marxist theory in paper 1, Marxist theory in paper 2. तो कोर तो वही है. You have to just further add on. Functionalism आप फर्स्ट पेपर में पढ़ते हैं. Aristotle was the first functionalist. And second पेपर में Woodrow Wilson, American president in 1918, who gave 14-point program. Functionalism second पेपर में पढ़ते हैं. फंक्शनलिज्म, कास्टिज्म, कम्युनलिज्म, रीजनलिज्म भी पढ़ते हैं. तो पॉलिटिकल साइंस इतना इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी है कि योर नॉलेज ऑफ वन एरिया विल बी रीइंफोर्सिंग द अदर. इट विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग बेस टू रीच आउट द अदर पोर्शंस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप रियलिज्म फर्स्ट पेपर में पढ़ते हैं, सेकेंड पेपर में पढ़ते हैं. फर्स्ट पेपर में रियलिज्म मैकियावेली का पढ़ते हैं, तो सेकेंड पेपर में रियलिज्म जो है वो मॉर्गेनथाउ को पढ़ते हैं. तो इस तरीके से देयर आर रिपीटिशंस ऑफ द सेम टॉपिक. सिमिलरली, यू हैव टू स्टडी थ्योरीज ऑफ लिबर्टी, इक्वलिटी, जस्टिस, राइट्स, डेमोक्रेसी, सॉवरेनिटी. दे आर पार्ट एंड पार्शल ऑफ योर जीएस सिलेबस एज वेल. इन फैक्ट, यू हैव टू स्टडी इन मोर डिटेल. सो ये 6 रीजन है व्हाई one should opt political science. It is syllabus is quite precise. It is short. It can grasping. You can make a grasp it in a easier way, smooth and interesting. As I said earlier also, कि interesting भी है और repetitions इसको और भी आसान बनाती हैं, इसके syllabus को lucid बनाती हैं, compact बनाती हैं और repetitions चीजों को रीइंफोर्स करती है. क्योंकि कोई भी चीज यू हैव टू अगर याद करना है तो योर वन मेथड इज रिपीटिशन. इट इज नॉट द ओनली मेथड. इट इज वन ऑफ द एलिमेंट्री मेथड मोस्टली यूज्ड इन स्कूल्स. कि कोई चीज याद नहीं हो रही तो उसको बार बार दोहराओ. बट आई ऑलवेज रिकमेंड दैट you can crack this exam by smart labor, not by plain labor. एंड स्मार्ट लेबर सिर्फ कहने से नहीं आ जाएगा कि स्मार्ट लेबर करना चाहिए, मेटिकुलस प्रिपरेशन करना चाहिए, सीरियस रहना चाहिए और स्टडी होना चाहिए, सस्टेनेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, कंसिस्टेंसी होनी चाहिए। ये सब शुड है, ये होना चाहिए, होगा कैसे? ये $1 मिलियन क्वेश्चन है। तो इंटरेस्टिंग होना चाहिए, इंटरेस्ट लेके पढ़ना चाहिए, लेकिन इंटरेस्ट डेवलप कैसे होगा? अनलेस यू थिंक, अनलेस यू कस्टमाइज, अनलेस यू पिक्चराइज, अनलेस यू प्रैक्टिस, अनलेस यू कोरिलेट, unless you apply that knowledge in your day-to-day life. Knowledge is not for sake of knowledge. ये सारे सिलेबस क्यों हैं? For becoming IAS and IPS. क्योंकि इन नॉलेज को आपको अप्लाई करना है. You have to apply in actual administration. So, why one should opt political science? Because ultimately, seventhly, you have to work in political system. You have to deal with politicians, you have to deal with common people, you have to deal with foreign delegates, you have to deal with tribals, you have to deal with local population, you have to deal with criminals, you have to deal with so many stakeholders. And political science is basically a study of contestations of different stakeholders, be it in terms of different ideology, ideas, interest, and so on. So, you will be able to resolve the problems easily when you apply that knowledge, and that practice of applying that knowledge should start from this level itself. Once you are qualified, training में बहुत सी चीजें बताई जाएंगी, बहुत सारे protocols, बहुत सारे norms, बहुत सारे rules. But the supreme law of the land is constitution, and there is rule of law, and study of constitution is both part of GS, General Studies, as well as PSIR. So, बिना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पढ़े ना तो कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर बन सकता है और ना बनना चाहिए। सिमिलरली इंडियन फॉरेन सर्विस में अगर आप जाते हैं तो वहां किस चीज का नॉलेज की जरूरत है? अगर यू हैव टू डील विथ फ्रेंच डेलीगेट एंड यू डोंट नो फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन, यू डोंट नो हाउ रूसोज थॉट इंस्पायर्ड डेमोक्रेटिक मूवमेंट्स अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, हाउ यू विल डील विथ? यू डोंट नो दैट रिपब्लिकन फीचर ऑफ फ्रेंच कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज कैनॉट बी अमेंडेड, हाउ विल डील विथ? If you don't know core values of America, that is democracy, human rights, federalism, decentralization, republicanism, separation of powers, human rights, civil rights, then how you will deal with the great democracy? We are the largest democracy. So ultimately, by opting political science, the very nature of administration, the nature of work that you are going to do in administration is supplemented and complemented by pol science. Whether it's in domestic services, IAS or IPS, or other Group A and Group B services, or IFS, Indian Foreign Service, everywhere, in every walk of life, it is being utilized. Eighthly, why one should opt political science? Because we have researched a lot. I have put so much efforts, energy to simplify the things. At the end of the day, everything is written in books. Why you need mentors, coach, teachers, faculties, guidance, coaching? Why you need? That is the basic question. As far as information is concerned, information की तो कोई कमी नहीं है, तो सिर्फ ज्ञान नहीं, बोध की जरूरत है। इंफॉर्मेशन तो पब्लिक डोमेन में है ही, you can Google it, each and every information you will have. Our job is to simplify the things, to make it graspable, retainable, producible, and I have developed so many innovative techniques to simplify the things. हम स्टूडेंट्स को, बच्चों को स्पून फीडिंग कराते हैं। स्पून फीडिंग सिर्फ कहने से नहीं होगा कि स्पून ऐसे होना चाहिए, इसके लिए बहुत सारे टेक्निक्स डेवलप किया है। निमोनिक्स, एक्रोनिम्स, जैसे अरिस्टोटल का पूरा थॉट उनके नेम से ही निकाल सकते हैं। कार्ल मार्क्स अगर पढ़ते हैं तो उसका पूरा ग्राफ बना के पढ़ते हैं ताकि साइंटिफिक प्रेजेंटेशन, ताकि ग्राफ से पूरी बात समझ में आ जाए। इसी तरह से इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन पढ़ते हैं तो उसका पूरा कोरिलेटेड आर्ट्स बनाए हुए हैं, फ्रेमवर्क बनाया हुआ है, किसी फ्रेमवर्क के अंदर आपको रहना है। So the whole, the recipe for success are sum total of so many variables. It's not only hard and smart work. It's guidance, it's materials, how you approach, how you develop interest, how you are getting reinforced. तो हम लोगों ने इतनी meticulously prepare किया हुआ है. One, printed notes will be provided to students. 22 booklets are there for covering both paper 1 and paper 2. But class notes would be different from the printed notes. Class notes will be in flowchart, will be precise, will be to the point. अगर printed notes और class notes एक ही जैसा हो तो फिर फर्क ही क्या है? जो चीज लिखी हुई है किताब में वही अगर क्लास में भी आप लिख रहे हैं तो उसका कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, उसका कोई रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा. I strongly believe that class notes should be lucid, precise, easy to revise, faster way of revision, and printed notes in detail. Besides classes, our classes are quite interactive, democratic. I don't discourage students to ask questions within the class. I always encourage them because it's not a one-way process. It's two-way process. Unless you participate, unless you have curiosity, unless you have doubts, unless you have queries, unless you participate, there will be no purpose served for physical classes. So as far as classes are concerned, our classes are quite friendly, quite interactive, participative. You are we mentor students. We not only teach students to impart them knowledge and facts and information. We force you to think. We force you to visualize. We force you to picturize. We propel you, we catalyze that process. And that process will not come in one day. I insist to students to write answer on a daily basis. जो भी आपने पढ़ा है, पढ़ते समय लगता है हाँ हो गया. But once you start writing answer, many students struggle from where to start, how to give introduction, what is the demand of the question. Many students have the problem of understanding question. Many students have problem of representing, writing answers. Many students have problem of summarizing the things. Many students have problem of concepts. Many students have lack of information. Different students have different kinds of problems. So that heterogeneity is there, but we always deal with it. To maximize your marks, to sharpen your exam-oriented approach. Because what is approach? सही approach अगर नहीं है, you will not be able to reach the destiny or getting success. Right approach. Approach is criteria of selecting a problem and relevant data. So approach is both what to inquire and how to inquire. What to inquire is given in syllabus. And how to inquire is a method. And different methods will be helping you in having multi-dimensional, multifaceted understanding. Comparative method भी use करना है, inductive method भी use करना है, deductive method भी use करना है, scientific method भी use करना है. तो different methods you use to grasp the things, to have command over the subject. And let me clarify, in your class of PSIR, I don't use a paper, diary, notes or PPT or so. I come with free hand. Everything is there. And that will boost your confidence. That subject is so easy. Otherwise, if the things are becoming complex, even the interesting things can be a nightmare. So, how you deal with it, that matters a lot. So, that is the 8th reason why one should opt political science and international relations. The 9th reason is the strike rate, success rate, and number of selections from PSIR. I need not to say, you can Google it, you can find it out that political science is having highest success rate in last couple of years. And I told the reason why it is so. So, success ratio, if you see the number of students appearing in mains with a particular optional, it is at the top. Whole science. It is the talk of the. It is the talk of the town. It is at the hot spot. it is most coveted. So there must be some logic of collective reasoning. अगर इतने सारे लोग उसको ऑप्ट कर रहे हैं, इतने सारे लोग इससे सिलेक्शन पा रहे हैं, इतने सारे लोग जो 80% स्टूडेंट्स हमारे जो बैच है पोल साइंस के, उसमें वो होते हैं जिनका कोई बैकग्राउंड पोल साइंस का नहीं होता, जीरो. एंड वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम क्लीन स्लेट, वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम जीरो लेवल. वी प्रिज्यूम दैट यू आर नोइंग नथिंग. फ्रॉम दैट लेवल वी स्टार्ट, और वहां से फिर स्टार्ट करके फिर दैट लेवल टू क्रैक द एग्जाम. और आउट ऑफ 500 marks in my classes, my students, you will have seen that in optional they get proportionally more marks than GS. If in GS they are getting 40 to 45% marks, in pol science they are getting 50% plus marks. So that decision is holding the key in your success. Always think over it. Don't take a hasty decision. Go for enlightened, informed decision. Whatever optional you have shortlisted, I'm not saying that only see pol science, see other optional as well. Then after shortlisting few optionals, you have to see the syllabus in detail. It's a matter of your career. Give time yourself. Don't rely upon only arbitrary and recommendations and advice of your friends or mentors or teachers even. Don't go for blind faith. Verify it yourself. Observe it yourself. Apply empirical method. Go for enlightened decision, empirical decision. So, this is the success ratio. The 9th reason why one should opt political science and international relation, that there is no dearth of guidance materials, the courses, because you will find that in many optional, like English literature, it is very difficult to find faculty in the whole Delhi or even the whole India for teaching English literature as an option. So the guidance, the materials matters a lot. Those who have so much experiences of dealing with that subject will simplify the things, will make it graspable, will make it retainable. And this is how the things work. And 10thly, the last but not the least, 10th reason why one should opt political science, that it is inherently interesting. It is inherently having a DNA of success. As I have told earlier also, that how interest is being further stimulated by surroundings. So, ये सारे reasons हैं why one should opt political science. तो सारे variable I have discussed. And regarding pol science, as I repeat that in our classes at Plutus IS Academy, we start from zero level, and the whole course will be covered in less than 300 hours. And the answer writing, test series, they are also included. And moreover, all kinds of students, those who have to improvise their marks, those who are beginners, those who are at the foundation course, those who are at the crash course, at all formats, we provide guidance to them. And definitely, your journey towards success would be simplified. It will be made so much pleasant and easy. Because if you take burden in learning the things, you will not be doing it sustainably. Sustainability is always there when you developed interest. Like, for example, सचिन तेंदुलकर इसलिए नहीं कहते कि मैं क्रिकेट खेलूंगा, नेम फेम पैसा कमाऊंगा और वो हमारा एंड है और ये मीन से क्रिकेट खेलना. वो ये कहते हैं क्रिकेट खेलने में ही मुझे मजा आता है. सो वंस यू स्टार्ट लविंग योर वर्क, वंस यू स्टार्ट enjoying your studies, that will be ultimately leading to your success in your career. But at the same time, once you develop interest, and developing interest is also an art. So I just sum it up. These are the reasons why one should opt political science and international relation. I always advise students to also see the video lectures in YouTube and various social media platforms. Don't be carried away by only names and claims. At the end of the day, you have to study. It must be compatible. There must be resonance between faculty, teacher, management, student, success. Everything should be aligned. Verify the things, take enlightened and informed decision, and that will only ensure success. So don't be carried away by big advertisements and big names and big the notes surrounding. Ultimately, you have to differentiate yourself from the crowd. In limited time, I cannot discuss and demonstrate my techniques. That will be demonstrated in a bit in video lectures and in detail in classroom. As I said, I always use scientific methods and presentation to make it simple, graspable, retainable. So that's it for today. Thank you. I wish you all the best. For those students who are opting PSIR, they are always welcome at our platform. They can interact with me. We don't believe in artificialities. You can interact during the class, before the class, after the class. We are at your disposal, because our success is defined in terms of your results. So we leave no stone unturned to ensure results. So that is because our success is precisely defined in terms of your results. And in my long career, I have seen that the results will make us proud. It will be making your career and making us proud. So that's it for today. All the best. Thank you.